It's grown folks time. We're talking handwritten love notes, slow jams, and real connection. This is Impact Houston Live, old school love, where we're bringing back the vibe, the honesty, and the heart. Let's have a conversation.
I want to thank you guys so much for listening to Impact Houston Live, because this is where it all came from. Valentine's Day was on the weekend, so we decided, Chris Marcus and myself, we decided that we would do a relationship show. It was off the chain. Y'all chimed in so tough that we sat up and we went, you know what? We need to do this. We just need to do this. So I kept pushing and I kept pushing and I kept pushing. I didn't know it was going to be like this.
Well, we had to convince Chris.
We decided we was going to just, because, Impact Houston Live is out in the summertime. We're out in the park. We're doing stuff like that. We're having live podcasts, and that's where we kind of thought this was going to go. But as we kept going, and you have different conversations with different people, you realize that this age group, I don't care what age group it is, except for these two right here, they young. They still wet behind the ears. You realize that this is a very important subject for everybody. And at the end of the day, everybody is looking for what? Love. Period. Without the games. Did I say that? No, I said that. Okay. No games, no drama. What else? No games, no drama. You want the companionship. I know that's right. Okay. And that companionship can be broken down on so many levels. So, but I'm not going to talk. I could talk, but I'm not going to talk. But I want to get started. So, I met this young man years ago. I don't know if a lot of you are jazz people, but I met him when I worked for a radio station called 95.7 The Wave. And he used to come to the After Work Escape every Wednesday, running his mouth, okay? And he still does that, okay? But I had a conversation with him. And he's seasoned, he's well seasoned. And he was like, I can't find a woman. Baby, you there too? Okay. He says, Donna, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and I'm a toot his horn right quick. He fixes everything in the house. Everything from A to Z, all of that. But make sure you have some crown, I'm just saying. And he's a good person. He's got his own house, swimming pool, give parties. See, look, I'm trying to hook him up right now. That's why I'm giving all of this stuff about him. So,
Be fighting him off later.
So with that being said, Jeff Hayes, please tell. Go ahead and clap. Please tell us why it is difficult for a seasoned man. And look, he looked pretty good. My only thing is not the light-skinned seasoned man no more. Everybody want a chocolate one.
They're not out of style.
So, huh?
They're not out of style.
They're not out of style? Okay. Y'all have to know I like to play. I love to play. So, Jeff, why is it hard to find a woman?
The biggest problem I have seen in dating is we have forgotten how to be honest with each other. We are afraid to say, I don't like gold hair. I don't like your size. I don't like how much money you make. I don't like the car you drive. I don't. And still just being honest. In the old days, we looked at each other, liked each other, found out what your person was about. Now we've gotten into this, what you got, where you drive, where you live. We bought into quote unquote old white America. We got to get out of that. And too many of us have bought into it. It's keeping us unhappy because as Donna says, I fix everything. My company is called Ladies Home Rescue Services. I'm in women's homes all day, all week long. And a lot of the women say to somebody, I can't find a good man. I said, no, you know so-and-so. But he doesn't make as much as I do. Hold up. There you go, right there. Just because he don't make as much as you do, don't make him not a good man. Most women, and I know this, make more money than the men do. I can tell you that right now, flat out. Y'all make more money than I do. If I didn't win for you guys, I'd be broke. And we've got to stop looking for what materialistic things, I want to be a pastor's wife or the president's wife, or da 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 da, and all that can be gone in a heartbeat. We have forgotten how to be happy with each other as you are. And y'all don't be throwing things at me. Women have gotten to the point now, y'all reverse roles. Y'all play more games than half the guys do now. Because I have walked across floors and clubs and stuff, and I can feel myself being scanned. You have on enough jewelry, da 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 da, whatever it is. No, you're not, and I haven't even opened up my mouth yet. So, and the games that the women are now playing was the same games the guys used to play 30 years ago. Except guess what? The guys now aren't 30, we're 60, and we're not playing those games anymore. And we are just at an impasse. We have just switch roles, bumping heads on everything. There's almost nothing we don't bump heads on anymore. Raising the kids, presidency, religion, you name it, we bump heads on it. Some of the women, hey, I don't want to dress like this, but you still have to figure, dress like it. No, I don't want to look like a young girl. If you look like a young girl, look like a young girl. There's some of you who don't look like young girls, stop trying to look like a young girl. Because we're sitting across the room going like, did she wear that? The same way y'all do when we walk in, go like, look at his shoes. And that's the biggest thing I've seen here lately. We cannot be honest with each other. We are afraid of hurting each other's feelings. And on top of that, you're afraid of hurting your own feelings. Because a lot of people say, oh, Jeff, you're too particular. You like this. I know what I like. You should know what you like. You don't want a light-skinned man. You want a dark-skinned man. You don't want a 5'2" man. You want a 6' tall man. Say it. Don't be like, well, they'll think I'm materialistic or I'm stuck up. No, they don't. And if they do, so what? It's your life. Be happy with yourself. Yeah. So
awesome perspective, but I have a question. So at what point does a personal desire become overly materialistic?
I mean, that's kind of a, point-to-point thing, Like I said, I've been in a lot of women's homes, big, beautiful homes out here in Sugar Land, Pearland. I can't find a good man. You were at the same party I was at last week. I saw you talking to so-and-so. Now, he lives over here in 3rd Ward. He's good. He's still working good and stuff. You have to determine, where you want to set the level at. And stop being afraid. See, that's the whole thing. Everybody gets so afraid now of what somebody else thinks about you. You like life pass you by. One of the things, and I'll do this real quick. I have talked to a couple of older women and some younger women, and I know all the guys have been out and seen this. I send you a drink. Lately, now your girlfriend's got to get up, or you get up and say, well, you didn't buy my girlfriend a drink. Wow. And the older guys now go like, no, I sent you a drink, I'm flirting with her. And then I asked some of them women, why did you let that happen? Well, I didn't want them to think I wasn't. But that's that, it's unfortunate. We're as bad as the teenagers at times. You were letting crowd, mentality go with you. Like you just ran off a good guy because I'm not buying $60 worth of drinks.
So the sitting in the drink still work. So sitting in the drink still work.
Not anymore. I don't. Well, if it comes with good intention, and if nobody comes back to my table and says you didn't see my girlfriend as a drink.
At this point, we're going to go to the therapist because I'm dying
Yes.
to hear what she's going to say.
She's just
after
been
what
listening.
you just said. Yes, but Chris, go ahead and introduce her.
Sure. Our next panelist is Georgia Lovell. She is a licensed professional counselor and is the founder and CEO of Flourishing Behavioral Health LLC. She is a certified school counselor as well as a national certified counselor. Georgia has experience working with children, adolescents, adults, couples, and families. Her passion is to bring healing to those who are in need of developing healthy thinking patterns, which enables them to work through stressful and traumatic situations. It's Lovell's belief that all people experience situations which causes challenges. She prides herself in providing a comfortable environment which cultivates a brave space for her clients to gain a healthy mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual solution. Georgia Lovell is a native Galvestonian and proud graduate of George W. Ball High School. She completed her baccalaureate degree at Texas A&M University, where she earned a Bachelor of Science in Disciplinary Studies. Georgia furthered her education at Prairie View A&M University, securing a master's degree in counseling, which provided the opportunity to sit for the LPC exam. Give her a round of applause for that. Now, she's also an active member, and she capitalized active, at the Silver Lake Church, where Pastor Reginald Devon is the senior pastor. Ms. Lovell is a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and has served in various positions and committees throughout the past 30 years. We want to welcome Georgia Lovell to Old School Love on today.
Thank you. Good morning. So, you want to hear from the therapist?
Yes.
Yeah, how would you unpack all of that?
Well, I think he led off with something very important, is honesty. And honesty in all aspects of life. Because, first of all, we need to learn how to be honest with ourselves. We may, like he said, you dress a certain way, we speak a certain way. We know and we code switch whenever we need to code switch, but be honest in all areas of life, because I don't want to meet you somewhere and you're one way and then I see you in another place and you are a different person. So we do need to learn how to love who we are so that we can present as that person in any arena that we are. So I know you read in my short bio that I am an Aggie, but I'm also a Panther. And I can be me in any of those arenas. And so learning who I am, which for some of us, that may take time, because who we are at 25 is not who I am at 58.
Right.
Almost 58. So we change with the times. We change when different things happen, different things occur. Just like I didn't like flowers. I didn't like flowers because my mama said she didn't like flowers because they die. But now at this age, I'm like, the flowers make the house pretty. The flowers make the house smell good. And so I didn't like it before, but now I love it. But that doesn't mean that it was anything wrong with it before. We change our likes and our dislikes, and be honest with yourself about, I like that or I don't like that, just with the people that you meet. Now, we need to take some lessons from the younger people. And I know that the older people, we feel that we know best. We know a lot. I don't know if we always know best in every situation, because they have some lessons that they can teach us. And if we can just sit back and learn from one another, they don't date like we used to date. Yeah. Oh, what's your name? What's your mama and them name? Where you work? You have benefits? We go all down the list. Well, if we just take some time to get to know people, we can learn people. And what we really want to learn is what's your character like? Because what's in your pocketbook might not match your character. Whether you light skin or you dark skin, what is your character? Are you honest? Are we able to have intimacy? And I'm not just talking about in the bedroom. Are we able to sit and talk and have an intellectual conversation? Because if we can't, that's a problem. Mm-hmm. That's a problem.
Not yet. She's going.
So, Georgia, I
Yes.
want you to kind of elaborate on something that you said earlier. You talked about the journey of self-care. How important is self-care before you enter into the relationship space? Because oftentimes, both men and women enter into these spaces still broken, still fractured, still damaged from not only previous relationships, but just adverse childhood experiences. There we go. And so talk about the correlation between all of those pieces and having a healthy relationship.
Okay, I don't know if I can put all of those together, but first you have to start with yourself because in a lot of ways and spaces we are broken, and figuring out who I am and how do I put my pieces together, because I might not want to put all those old pieces together. I might not want to be or need to be that person whom I was before, because with living comes experiences. And when you have those different experiences, whether you categorize them as good or bad, I always ask my clients, what did you take from that? What did you learn from that? What did you learn about yourself from that experience? So although it may have not been a favorable one, what can you take out of it? And that might be something I want to put in my puzzle as a piece. So we have sometimes childhood trauma that a lot of times we don't talk about. A lot of things we don't talk about because our church heals everything, and it can't.
Absolutely cannot.
And that's why we have people that God has given to us as therapists. So as a culture, we need to move away from you don't need therapy. Therapy is not good.
Absolutely.
Therapy in a lot of ways is exactly what some people need. And so in my bio it said a brave space. Because when you come to me, I'm not your judge. When you come to me, I'm an impartial person, and I'm going to give you research-based interventions that I know work, especially in the relationship arena. I've been married for 30 years, and I never ask my clients to do anything that my husband and I haven't tried to say it work. And I might say, well, this didn't work for us, but here, y'all go try this, and y'all come back and let me know how it worked out. So being in a relationship, first, you need to be in a relationship with yourself. Because if I'm not okay with being with me, how am I going to be okay with being with you? And it says he who finds. It doesn't say she who finds. It says he who finds. And so we do have to stay in order. We do have to stay in our lane, because a lot of times, because of who we are, we feel like, oh, I can do that because I'm guilty. Oh, I got it all. But I don't have to. When I have a suitable mate that the Lord has chosen for me, I don't have to feel like I need to do all those things. And I can let him be in his lane. I can stay in my lane, because that's when it doesn't feel good, when I'm trying to drive the car and he's supposed to be the driver.
But you gotta want to be found.
I think at this particular time, we're going to have a few questions. We got like 5 minutes. So, Dorita has the mic.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Are we on? Mic
Dorita
check.
has the
Okay, yeah.
mic.
There's two.
There it
Jordan
is.
has one also. I know we have a question in the back.
Okay.
If we could ask you, really think about what you want to ask. We need it to be brief and concise. So we'll start with there. Stand up, please.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay. What I was saying when you was talking about the women and saying that they can't find a good man, or you finding a good woman, and all why not just go into the relationship? What I did was, when I got divorced and stuff, the next relationship, I just went into it with no expectations from that person, and I found it to be easier so that they could. I'm not saying that I didn't have boundaries and standards, but just I feel like it was just more comfortable for you to not expect for that person to just be wide open, be honest about everything that you have, lay it out on the table, but don't expect, oh, well, because I was in this relationship with this person, that the next person is going to be the same way. Just don't put the expectations so hard on people, so that they can feel more comfortable to open up and, let you know who they really are. But also watch and keep your eyes open and make sure you know them in all areas. You need to see them all the way around.
Thank you so much for that. You have a question up front? Right here. Right here. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone.
How you doing?
My name is Pat. I'm 67 years old, and I'm a widow of 5 years. My husband and I were married for 43 years and dated for like 5 before we got married. He was my best friend, and this is the absolute truth. I liked him as well as loved him. But now I'm a communications major. There is no more interpersonal communication. That is a problem for me. Texting all day, I don't have that kind of time. That's time consuming. I can talk on the phone and multitask, right? Because I can have my earbuds in. But I am a component of full disclosure, total transparency. What you see is what you get. I can dress up and be glam, or I can be that country girl that like to walk around and dig in dirt and plant stuff. But the problem I'm having is most men my age want younger women. And look like I'm gonna have to go down a couple, my youngest daughter is 50 years old. And I might have to go down to a 56 or 58-year-old because I've been celibate for 7 years. My husband was sick before he passed. I can't have these, and intimate sex is the culmination of intimacy and friendship.
Sure.
And I'm not just gonna be having sex because I gotta go to heaven. Right? I can't be out here fornicating.
That part.
So when I'm dating with a purpose.
Absolutely.
Okay. So if you can't get with that, just please don't.
Let her respond.
Go ahead. So what I'll say to that is totally correct. 95% of the people that I see in my office who are couples, they are on their couch because of the communication problem. And so when we learn how to communicate, building stronger bonds, building stronger relationship, being able to be who you are without feeling as if you're going to be judged for what you say or how you say it. Once you get past that point of not being able to, you don't feel like as if you have to hold back or can't talk about certain things, that draws two people closer together. So when you speak to one another and have conversations, be non-judgmental, be flexible, and be open-minded about what you're going to hear from each other. And that will help to bring that relationship closer.
We're going to take one more question, and then we're going to wrap up this segment.
Jerry Bradley Jr., also Baba Kwame Chakwe. Dr. Lovell, am I pronounced that correctly?
Miss Lovell.
Ms. Lovell, would you please speak to the challenge of lack of accountability relative to gender differences and the lack of emotional intelligence on the part of the genders? Is that short enough?
Deep subject, though.
Okay. Can you repeat that question?
I know, right?
We don't. It's okay.
I cannot do it in 30 seconds. But yes, I'm going to address the lack of emotional intelligence, because we need to be able to receive each other where we are. But how do I know where you are unless I first sit and talk to you? When I'm looking around the room and I'm trying to decide what I want and who I want, that's just a person on the outside. I need to know who you are intellectually, emotionally. Do we connect? Because if we don't, then that's not the person for me. I cannot make a man. I mean, we can try, but eventually, I've seen it done a couple of times. They're gone. You made him for someone else. You made him for someone else. And so accepting people for who they are and deciding for yourself what's in your best interest, then that's the kind of person that you want to connect with. If the person look good, sound good, smell good, but they are just not good for you emotionally, then, as my kids say, you don't need to mess up your mental. trying to be with somebody who is not, and like, not that anybody is beneath anybody else, but if you are not at the same level emotionally, intellectually, it's going to be a hard relationship to make work well.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you coming out. This wraps up the first segment. We have 2 more segments to go. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
I chose Texas Southern University because I am from a small town, and Texas Southern University is located in the heart of Houston where there are so many opportunities.
Here at TSU, you're more than just a student. You're part of a community that believes in you, even when self-doubt creeps in.
The last reason I suggest you come to TSU is because even online, you can feel at home. Go Tigers!
And we are back to the next segment of Old School Love.
Yes.
And to keep this thing going, I want to introduce our next panelist, which we've already introduced her. One of my favorite personalities on KTSU Radio. Give it up for the Dunbeezy from the Big East.
From the Big East. How y'all doing?
So Dunbeezy.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk.
First of all, I want to say this, and the lady said the scripture. In Proverbs, it says, he who findeth a wife, findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor from the Lord. Man, that means so much, and we can break that down. Y'all, it's a game. Listen to what I'm saying. It's all about a game. And the game is to decide if you want this thing for a night, just to play with, or if you're trying to get the ring. All of us in here is 50 or older, perhaps, right? So we're coming out of halftime. We're going into third quarter. We ain't got no time to waste.
I love the
so
sport
it
reference.
depends on if you shooting for that Super Bowl ring. Every girl don't want the ring. A lady, Bridget, called yesterday and she said, I want the relationship without the relationship. And that's good if you know what you want. But ladies, I will say this to you. Here's the problem. A lot of us don't know what we want. A lot of us don't know what we want. And if you don't know what you want, then you can't choose. And that's why we in turmoil. I don't get in lines, I create them. All right? I don't get in lines, I create them. So if Walmart is letting us do self-checkout, Taco Bell letting us do self-checkout, and McDonald's letting us do self-checkout, well, shouldn't you spend some time with yourself and self-checkout and figure out what you want? Listen, another gentleman called in because I said 2 people can have something to say. You can't abracadabra this thing. You can't abracadabra this thing. So you meet him, he fine. You want to bring him over. So y'all gonna skip the living room where you can sit and have conversations and a drink and talk, find out who his mama is, how many times he got a whipping, did he skip school? You miss the kitchen where y'all can cook and find out he don't like garlic or red sauce, or you don't know how to cook, so he got to pay to take you out all the time. We done missed all that, and we go straight to the bedroom. Well, after them 3 minutes. Hold up.
She said, wait a minute. She said 3.
Yeah.
And I'm not laughing from experience.
Yeah. Now I done gave y'all a scripture, but I need to tell y'all a little something, and I need you to wrap to the ladies in here. No disrespect to the man. Ladies, we all got a hoo-ha. So you thinking that your hoo-ha gonna win him over? Well, let me tell you something. I like chicken wings. I eat them from Church's, Popeyes, the man on the corner, French's. It's all a chicken wing. But the ones you like the best is the ones that they've seasoned, they've brined, they spend time with. And those are the ones that you don't mind how much they cost, and you will go back. You'll make out your way. Well, lady, your hoo-ha ain't no better than nobody else's. But the reason why he can say to you, I love you, and I want to be with you, and I like your hoo-ha, because you done spend time with him. What does the seasoning look like in that area? It means that we've stopped in the living room. We've watched some movies. He know I ain't got no subscriptions because I don't have no money. So he already know he got to give me some money so we can get Hulu. Then we went to the kitchen. He seasoned it up. You see what I'm saying? That's the intellect. Then when we get to the kitchen, right, we sitting in there and we cooking, and I'm learning some more stuff about him, that he got the gout, so now I can't fix him no pork. But I'm learning his intellect and his character is the seasoning. So that when I do decide to give him the hoo-ha, oh Lord, it's 4th of July. But it's not really, it's just that we've invested in each other. We've spent time in each other. You know what I'm saying? I want to take, hey, baby, how you doing? I just met you. Can I come over so you can cook for me? No. Y'all, we ain't going into third quarter. We ain't got time to play no games. I don't know about y'all, but this chick right here, I ain't looking for the guy, and I'm being honest, that want to kick the field goal. I'm looking for the one who want to do the onside kick. If you don't know what that means, lady, that means taking a chance with me, taking a chance on me, invest in me. And stop trying to wife him up soon as you meet him. Soon as you meet him, you're calling your girlfriend, girl, I think this could be the one. How could he be? You don't even know him. So if he say I'm sorry, one second. If he say he like you and he want to get to know you, he going to spend time with you. He going to make an extra effort to see you. If he can go 3 days without talking to you or seeing you, let me tell you something. He ain't the one. But now if you done already gave up the woo-ah, you sprung. Before we go into what he's going to say, I don't get in lines, I create them. Oh, I'm sorry.
So, no, I appreciate you. Don't be, so you said a lot right there, so let's unpack a little bit. You said, so you mentioned things that the lady should look out for and be aware for, but how do you as a lady recognize mixed signals that men may be giving you?
If you say you like me, if we're on the phone and I say to you I have a flat tire, you shouldn't say to me, oh, call me when you get it fixed. You should say to me, you know what? Hold up, I'm on my way. Then when you get there, you get my keys. You go take my car. Me and you go and we see about getting my car fixed. And then when we come back, the gentleman said yesterday in the text in through text messaging on KTSU, because you all are members and you support and we continue to elevate, he said, I would take her car and maybe for a day, let her keep mine and I keep hers to make sure her car. That's how I know. Because you're concerned about not just the outer me, get past the lips and the hips. There's a whole woman here. I'm strong because I have to be, not because we want to be. You see, we don't want to be. The most precious place for myself, and I don't know if you all agree, is when I meet him. When I meet him, I'm going to be able to at night lay down, relax, and put my head in his chest and know that he got us because he have first a relationship with God. Then I could submit to him. Ladies, submit is not a bad word, and it does not mean control. Submit means I trust you because you trust God. And I know that you're going to go before him on our behalf. And baby, whatever decision you make, I'm ride or die.
Okay, so now I'm going to get a little personal.
Let's go.
What's been your most funniest or surprising thing to happen on a date?
The most fun and surprising, because I'm a fun person. The most surprising thing is that when men sit there and tell me things like this, and it drives me banana. I don't know, you too much woman for me.
Well,
I'm surprised. And here's what I'm saying. Is I'm physically too much woman for you? Am I intellectually too much woman for you? Am I spiritually? I don't know what you mean by that. Because we as women, although we have this strong persona, if you break back the layers, you'll find out. So I'm surprised because I'm looking at this big, strong man, 6'2", caramel complexion. I like the way he combs his hair. And I'm thinking he everything, right? But I'm looking for him. And guess what? You don't have to have a 6-figure job. I have another business. I really kind of want you to don't have no dream because I need to mold you into, I'm sorry.
You need to finish that statement.
We can do this.
Finish that statement. We want to hear you finish that statement.
Because I desire somebody that I could grow with. Don't look at where I'm at. I don't care. I'm being honest. You can work at Sonic. You work. See, it's the men who think that we're looking for all your money. We're really not. We just want you and your honesty. Don't put on, like the gentleman said, put on this persona. I want to sit and have coffee. I want to talk. When you first meet me and take me on a date, we don't have to go to Steak 48.
But that's usually not the request though. Usually the request, even at my age, is the Steak 48 date. If you ask a lady to take her to coffee or something like that, she's like, oh, he ain't got no money.
No, let me tell you why. Men know how to deal with women and females, but a lady is a total different level.
Really? Yeah.
A lady is a total different level. And a lot of times, I had a man tell me one day, he said, you know what, girl, I like you, but this is just too much. I could date a girl and it don't have to be all that. Because you know what? They don't want the accountability, the responsibility. They feel like they don't have to tell you nothing. And they just want to play. Because it's really a game. And when a man tells me, I don't really want no relationship, okay. So you can take me to Steak 40, we could do some things, but come over, that's relationship stuff. You want to hold my hand, that's relationships. That's relationship stuff. So you can't tell me you don't want a relationship, but yet you want to do relationship things. So ladies and gentlemen, what we've got to decide is where those friendships and relationship boundaries stop and start.
So
I was
what's
gonna say, we're gonna have a
missing in
live
all
for
of
Georgia
that
to unpack.
is the commitment. We're talking about people who are not ready to commit. Safety. Do I feel safe with you? You know, if I don't feel safe with you, where does this go? It doesn't go anywhere. Because as a woman, I need to feel physically safe, emotionally safe, intellectually safe. I need to feel that whomever I put my trust in is going to take care of me wholly, not just parts.
Dumbeezy, I heard you talk about a few things in your comments, but I want you to talk about, I know we're talking about old school love, but I want you to talk about the importance of courtship. Now, my mother and my father were married for 35 years. My father would brag to me how he courted my mother, right? Not just dating, but the strategic, intentional process of what you're saying, getting to know one another. Talk about the importance of that. Because I hear y'all saying he who finds a wife finds a good thing, but the way you find is with courtship.
And in today's time, that almost seems like a bad word.
Yeah.
You know, that almost seems like a bad word. I was married straight out of high school. Well, I've been married twice. Anyway, we'll talk about that later on the show. But I married my high school sweetheart. Because he didn't just date me. Dating is when you saying hello, you go out, you see each other. But courting is me, I've dated you, I've made a commitment because I want to get to know you deeper. I want us to share some things. Courting me means that we're exclusive. And we didn't have to say that. We just knew that, right? So when you court someone, that's when you find out the intimacy part. Intimacy is not sex, it's two different things.
Really?
And
Stop, Marcus.
and I'm sorry, real quick. In courting you, that's where you share the intimacy, right? The intimacy is important, where you find out the character, the integrity, as the lady here said. But then the sex is totally different, and sex is only 10% of the whole intimacy. And when I can't go there, but anyway,
Let's. We're gonna take questions on this side. One question on this side and one question on this side. Dorita.
Okay, mic check. Thank you.
Okay, so a friend of mine was talking to her. She's been going in and out of stuff, and I asked her, about being alpha female. And one of the things that we've discussed is about, like you said, courtship. Nobody wants to date you. What do we do? Because I have a male cousin who said it was hard for him to find, which was strange to me, for him to find a good woman because all he wanted was to take pictures of the food and, this, that, and the other. And the females, we having a hard time finding men because nobody can make the decision as far as where we're going to go. Everything is, well, what do you want to do? Well, if you're interested in me and you come to me, why is it you can't ask? My question to you all is, what are we supposed to do? I just turned 50, but, I've been single all this time. And my question is, what are we supposed to do? I mean, do I have to make the decisions at all times?
Let's break that down. First of all, we got to dissect what is an alpha female.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Miss Georgia.
I want to know her definition.
Oh,
of
okay.
What alpha female is, because we title things and they're not necessarily so. So we can have people who have strong personalities, and we automatically might want to say that's a alpha female. No, I'm just a female who can make decisions if I have to, but I don't have to be that person if I feel as if I have safety in you and I can let you make that decision. Now, I ain't gonna ride or die because I like to live, but I'll follow my man wherever, he makes those decisions with good information and knows what's best for us. So there are times, ladies, when we do have to make certain decisions, and But if it's like, okay, well, where we gonna eat? Okay, well, let's sit down and talk about it. Let's discuss it. You like this, I like that. Okay, is there a place we can go together? Because I don't always want to feel like I have to make the decisions for us because this is us. Yeah.
Question on the other side of the room.
The one right here.
My name is Rose Johnson, and I just want to kind of comment off of what she was saying, that how she may have to step down as far as age. And I guess the awakening thing for me is that I came out of a relationship, I was broken, and I let myself, 2 years to get it together. And I ended up meeting somebody, and I just let my guard down, just talk, let him, we're just going to get to know each other. And then all of a sudden, age wasn't a thing to me. I had to learn that. And after getting to know him for about 4 months, I had no idea he was 13 years younger than I am.
Mm-hmm.
So our intellect is there, and everything is good, but it was like a defining point for me because he is in a different generation than I am, right? I'm almost 60.
Does that bother you?
Well, at first it didn't, but as I started peeling the layers back, I got some things that I need to deal with as far as, just with me, not with him.
Because we have our own hang-ups sometimes.
Yes.
And
I am engaged.
Is it Aaliyah? What
To
you
the-
say?
to the
Age
young
ain't number
girl.
the number.
Rock that girl.
Okay. I didn't lay the cards out on the table, but my father left one thing with me that stuck with me. He said, a gentleman knows a lady when he sees her.
Yes.
He said, don't you ever forget it.
Right.
That's all I have to say.
Congratulations. We're going to let Miss Georgia close us out with some words of wisdom on this segment.
Okay. So in regards to, I'm going to go back to what you said about character and earlier, and I can't remember if it's Aaliyah that said age ain't nothing but a number. We have to be able to go deeper and not be superficial, not be judgmental about those people who come into our lives, because although we may date people with brown skin, we come from different backgrounds. We've had different experiences. So we present as what's in us. And so I need to be able to accept or not that person for who they are. So if it, science tells us, for the most part, that if I'm 25 and I'm dating somebody that's 25, he's really like 20 or 21. But that's not always true for every person, because they may have had experiences that have helped them to mature as a person. So that goes back to that intellectual being that I need to be able to communicate with.
Thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
At Texas Southern University, we're more than a campus. We're a community driven by purpose and excellence. Here, teamwork and student success are at the heart of everything we do. We are proud to be an independent urban university committed to innovation, diversity, and progress. At TSU, excellence meets opportunity. From Third Ward to the world, we are TSU proud.
And we're back. We're joined by Mr. Kobe Mendenhall, who is an IT professional. Can we get a round of applause for Mr. Kobe Mendenhall? Thank you. Well, Kobe, we've had a chance to hear from the sisters in terms of their varied experiences. But let's talk about, what is it that men really want from your perspective? There you go. What we want, since we don't know.
Good afternoon, ladies. We really appreciate you guys coming out today. I am honored to be a member of this panel, just to provide some insight into what the men that most of you single ladies are looking for, just to kind of give you an idea of why you may run into issues because of what those types of men look for. So I'm gonna kind of give it to you in a short version. Most men, I'm 52, I'll be 53 next month if the Lord say the same. Empty nester, great career, semi-retired, everything that most women in this age demographic say that they're looking for, right? One of the things that men look for are somebody who's catering, who's nurturing, who's a partner with a teammate effort, right? A lot of times I tell a lot of my friends that I'm kind of in that age gap where I could date the young chick and I could date the older woman too, right? So I'm caught up in that middle. So out in the dating marketplace, running to the younger chick, 35, 36, 40. She wants to stay 48. She wants to go to Caribbean. She wants to do all of this, right? And then I also have the opportunity to run into the older woman. And sometimes one of the things that we run into, I'm a strong, black, independent woman. I did everything on my own. I don't need no help. Ladies, let me inform you of something. When you tell a man that you don't need a man, that man not gonna stay. He doesn't care about your 6-figure career and you the head nurse at Bentop. None of that matters.
Brother Mendenhall, will you repeat that one more time? Repeat that one more time.
I mean, it's a hard reality because I understand that we live in a social media driven environment where everybody has their phone in their hand, and there's some person who may be single giving single people relationship advice that they're not even utilizing. Going back to making that statement again, please don't use being a strong, black, independent woman as a badge of honor, because we do not see it that way. That tells me you don't want to be, okay, that's why you're single? Check, please, and then we gone. So a lot of times when I hear women, 98% of my friends are women, right? So I hear all the stories. I don't know why he ghosted me. What did you tell him? What did you tell him? Because especially men in my age demographic, just like y'all, we don't really have that high tolerance level that we used to have when we were younger.
Right.
Because she had a particular body or whatever, that doesn't work for our age demographic.
No.
So we really just want somebody that's going to be a teammate, that's catering, that's nurturing, that's a partner. Because in our age group, if you ain't got it together, ain't no need of us talking the same way, the women I talk to, they say, well, these men, they don't be having their stuff together. And I'm like, well, what does that look like for you? I like to use myself as the example. I am an outright homeowner, retired from one company. I'm working at a second company. Got the house, car, I got everything. But that might not be, I'm just use you as an example, that might not even be enough for you, right? Whereas with some people, we have to, another thing I think that ladies have to do is have realistic expectations of your partner. So I always tell people, when you say that you're looking for a good man, you have to be very specific on what you determine is good, because the word good is subjective. When fried pork chops is good to somebody, baked pork chops are good to somebody. So you have to be very, very intentional on what you are looking for and have realistic expectations, because a lot of women have this encyclopedia list. I know I went old school because they don't even have encyclopedias no more.
All online.
But they have an encyclopedia
they
list
still got 'em.
of everything that this man have to have.
Now, Brother Kobe, I want to ask you something.
Sure.
Because you said something earlier. You talked about brothers your age not necessarily looking for a younger woman. Because I have older brothers, older cousins, uncles. They're in their 50s, 60s, 70s. And I have to be honest with you all. They ain't really looking for a younger woman, right? They would prefer somebody in their age group who they can relate with, and they say that's not the case. Can you speak to that can you speak to the realness of that statement, man?
Dating younger, in your 50s, and I can only speak for my age demographic, dating younger comes with a lot.
It
It comes with maintenance, right? Because You're dating women who are up and coming and finding out who they are, and they're on their professional drive in regards to where they're trying to get to professionally, right? So they require a lot more. You know, they want the nails, they want the feet because they don't have the resources to do that themselves. So if you're a upper echelon 50-year-old guy who's got the money just to blow on hair and nails every week, and 'cause that's what a lot of those women tend to ask for, that could work. Me, myself, I've always dated older, right? Even when I was in high school, I was a freshman going to the prom with seniors because that's who I gravitated to. So for me, I like a seasoned person or an older person because intellectually, well, and that's one of the things that I wanted to commend the doctor or counselor. Which one can I call you?
You can call me counselor.
Okay, the counselor was saying, because I'm more intellectual than physical.
Right.
You know,
right.
a younger woman, I have 4 daughters, 30, 27, 24, and 21, right? So a lot of the lingo that I know from them, from this generation, I learned it from them. But I know I couldn't be interested in a partner who's saying, you know, I want some tickets to the Lil Durk concert. And I'm like, who is Lil Durk?
Right.
You know?
And
so I know that was not a lane for me.
And
So
Brother Kobe,
yes,
I'm
sir.
glad you said that because I think that there's a word that has not been thrown around. It's called age appropriate.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Shannon Sharp situation, but I'm not going to touch on that.
And I ain't talking about in reverse, right? I mean, you know, there has to be, in my mind, a range, right? Because, you know, we're seeing the thing in the news with Bill Belichick and his girlfriend.
Shannon Sharp too.
Right? Shannon Sharp too, right? Now Bill Belichick is saying he's happy, but what he's not understanding is some people are offended by the age appropriateness or the lack thereof.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Continue to talk about that.
I think we also need to look culturally at what we're calling age appropriate, because if you think back lots and lots of generations
or overseas,
there were a younger girl was paired with an older gentleman because the goal was to have children. And whether we realize it or not, 17, 16, 18, that's the optimum age for a person to have children. That's why when we see young girls in high school, they have babies and they bounce back like it's nothing. That is the age that your body is made to produce. So with the age appropriateness, some of that also may be cultural.
Yeah.
Okay, one more thing. So since you brought that up, I want to talk about catering just a little bit. Because when you cater, you need to know what you're catering to. Am I catering to somebody who their love language, and find your love language. If you don't know it, look it up and do the quiz. Is your love language giving gifts or receiving gifts? Is your love language physical touch? Is your love language just spending time with me? So if I'm going to cater, I need to know what I'm catering to.
Now, speaking of love language, our producers are waving our hand.
I know.
That's
We
her
need to
love
take
language.
questions right now.
So we're going to take some questions.
Chili.
Yes. First of all, the views about to be expressed are mine and mine only.
Chili Bill Smith.
First, we have to make sure that we're not trying to rush into relationships. We got to make sure first that we are good in where we are. I've heard many people say that we're not good, but we got something, we want to jump in something else, and maybe that'll make us better. We got to make sure we're good first. You got to make sure you're good, and as God is preparing that person for you. So we got to be first in that. Second of all, don't meet somebody and the first thing y'all do is go on Facebook and tell somebody that you met them. Leave that social media stuff alone. Because I say this a lot of times, and my friend Jess will tell you, because I say this all the time. A lot of times people may not want to see you happy.
Correct.
A lot of your friends around you may not want to see you happy because they may not have somebody. So when you get somebody and you let them know, girl, he doing this. Oh, fella, man, my girlfriend is blah, blah, blah. I just met doing it this way. They may smile in your face, but jealousy will come out. So you have to make sure in that aspect as well. But love on yourself first. Love who you are first. Then go into it. And then also, like you said, yes, everybody has standards. Everybody has critiques in what they want to do. But go into this, like one young lady said, don't go in with no expectations. You cannot bring what happened with Clyde into this new thing because that's not fair to that person.
Correct.
So first you have to do is you got to erase all of that first and say, if I'm going to meet somebody, if I'm going to meet this young man who's approaching me or this young lady, I am not going to bring yesterday's stuff into today's blessing. All right.
And Deacon Bill has spoken.
Okay, I have a question. I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Kobe.
Kobe, okay. We're about the same age.
Okay.
And you sound like you're established, and you also mentioned that you know about younger women and older women. But what is your ideal woman?
So I have the 10-year rule, right? I won't date a woman over 10 years younger than me, which would make her 42. And I wouldn't date somebody that's 10 years older than me, which would be 62. Now, of course, depending on the person, there's a lot of flexibility in that. But kind of going back to something Uncle Chili Bill was saying, I operate on what I like to call a HOT theory, H-O-T. Honesty, openness, and transparency, right? Those three things you can't buy at Costco, Target, or Walmart. They have to be embedded inside of you, right? So they don't cost a dime to display, right? Be honest, be open, be transparency about what it is that you're looking for. I think one of the things that we run into, both men and women alike, is saying the right things for the second date, right? Oh, well, yeah, do you like to travel? Yeah, I like to travel. Well, where have you been? Galveston, Dallas. Yeah, do you have a passport? No. I get ridiculed. I've said this on countless times that when I run into people who say they like to travel and they haven't been outside of the country, I say, well, yeah, you just like going out of town. Because I travel, right? So there's a difference. So I think going back to your question, my limit is 10 years either way, but it really depends on the person. Can we vibe? Can we have a conversation? If you ask me about Lil Durk, Lil Baby, Lil Wayne, I'm not the guy for you, right? So I think it comes with what kind of vibe that we establish and what the direction is we both want to go on in regards to this friendship/relationship.
You got a lot of questions, Kobe.
So we're going to go back to Miss Lovell. So would you like to add to that, Miss Georgia?
Miss Georgia's here. I would. But I'm going to pull my notes out. So in regards to just that right person or the person that you're looking for, I'm going to say be careful with identifying red flags, because if you seek, you will find. And if you think about it, we all have some things within us that somebody might not like, that somebody might find off-putting. So I say look for those green flags, and I've talked about quite a few of them, so I just want to go down to the list. The green flags are appreciation. Are we appreciating each other in this relationship? Do we show appreciation? Do we talk about appreciation? Are we committed to the relationship that we say that we want to have? Conflict resolution. Are we able to resolve our conflicts? We're not going to agree on everything, but can we resolve that? Can we come to some type of compromise? I didn't say I was right or you were right, but we compromise on whatever the solution is. Are you empathetic? Are you able to see things from my point of view? And am I able to do the same with you? If I can't, then that may be something we need to work on, because again, that is a green flag that I feel that I need in my relationship. Independence. Do I always have to be stuck up under you? Do we always have to be together? Or can we be together sometimes? Can you go do your thing, I do my thing? We have family and we do all our things together, because in our life we have to have balance. And if I'm not able to have my time to take care of my self-care, whether it's getting my nails done, my toes done, my child told me I need to get my toes done, and I want to go get my hair done, I want to spend time with my girls. Do I have time to do that without you calling me, texting me? No, I need you to be able to do the same thing, because we do need to be able to have separate groups that we travel in, and we also need to be able to come together. I talked about safety, effective communication. Do we communicate effectively? Are you yelling at me? Are you talking to me in words that I can't understand? Can you explain that? If not, then we need to find a way to effectively communicate. And that, yes.
You talk about that. I didn't mean to interrupt, but
That's okay.
effective communication. There's a thing where you're talking at them or to them.
Mm-hmm. We need to be able to talk to one another. And effective, I'm going to go back into it a little bit more, effective communication. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you understand what I'm saying, give it back to me in your own words. I'm not asking you to tell me exactly what I said, how I said it. Do you understand what I said? Give it back to me. And I need to reflect on it. I need to empathize with you. Do we need to problem solve whatever it is that I'm communicating with you?
Before we close this segment out, I want to leave the ladies with two important things that men look for in a partner. They may sound very, very simple, but they are very, very complex. The first thing a man requires and expects from his partner is respect. Respect is second to oxygen for a man. The second thing is appreciation. Now, let me explain that appreciation, because it has gotten lost in translation. If a man pays the mortgage or he pays the rent, right, that's what he's supposed to do, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, mean.
But he could have paid the rent for Miss Tina around the corner. So because he went on and made the sacrifice to pay the rent for you and him, just a small amount of appreciation goes a long way. Now, I've been told through a previous relationship is that you don't get a parade for doing what you're supposed to do. Wow. Right?
Wow.
But a small thank you goes a long way.
Yes.
You know, it goes a long way. So I want to leave you, especially, like I say, with the men in my age group, the two biggest things is respect and appreciation. You don't have to cook every day. You don't have to clean. You don't have to do it. Just respect me as a man, as your man, and just show some type of appreciation that'll go a lot further than anything else you can think of.
So we have a few questions from the audience. Do we have some questions? Okay.
A lot of questions.
Finally, thank you. I do have a question. Let me just say, I'm glad that you're here. I'm in therapy currently, and now a whole person looking for a whole person, and not saying, oh, I'm looking for my better half. So you have to come in as a whole person. So I'm at the state where I am ready now to be in a relationship, because I am coming as a whole and not looking for someone to complete me. Mm-hmm. I don't believe in marriage. I believe in a divine union. I think marriages are about the male and how we submit to him. And yes, submitting is okay, but I think you submit to each other. And I think a divine union is for the you, Y-O-U, it's for both of you. So no, I don't believe in the sanction. It's patent. It is made for, and I don't think it works. That's why it's divorce. It's not working. So I think when you enter into a divine union and it's about both of you, it doesn't make it about monetary things. It doesn't make it about the stuff. I am single. I've been single since I lived in Houston for 10 years. I'm from California. I feel like we don't speak the same language. I feel like we're not getting along, but it's okay. I'm still here. I'm still trying, and I haven't given up. But what I am going to say to that is that we're asking for things that we can't give. We keep asking for something that we are not giving. So thank you, brother, for just being honest, because I am honest, transparent, I speak my mind, and I am intellectual. So when you're into that, that's called sapiosexual, because that person stimulates you mentally. And that's what's important. And I also have a 100-hour rule of quality time aligning. You don't even come to my house without 100 hours of quality time aligning. That means no texting, no movies. We have to sit and talk about things that we are aligned with. And after that, no, you ain't getting no coochie. Simple as that.
Well,
that's all right. Hey.
Can we? So we have a few questions on this side.
Right here, darling. Up front.
Okay.
Hello, I've seated here and listened to.
Speak up just a little bit.
Can we?
Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And
Shh. Thank y'all.
I'm a widow of 14 years, and my husband was, like you said, he courted me, and he appreciated me. I appreciated him. That type of stuff is earned, but I find today that, and I'm in my fourth quarter, somebody said they're in the third, that men don't have that same approach. I don't look for you to be exactly the way that my husband was, because nobody can be exactly the way he was, but have those attributes that you mentioned, because he had all of them, and that's very hard for someone that's had it and know it when they see it, and because you have a lot of guys that are narcissistic, they don't realize that they are. You have some women that are narcissistic, and they don't realize that they are. And so a guy will say, you're independent. Well, I have to be independent. I'm a single woman now, so I have to be independent and take care of myself, where my husband was my backbone. So sometimes we're independent because we have to be independent. And I think that's just an excuse for whatever. But yeah, we found a lot of games out here. I was very naive to that because I was married so long. I was
The games are just mind blowing.
But can I make one comment? Can I make one comment?
Go ahead,
So
Marcus.
I think sometimes as women, we have to take into a perspective when dealing with men at that level. Now, after you've been married, after you've been divorced, and maybe Lord forbid widowed, right? You have to think that a lot of men are coming out of divorces as well, and a lot of these men feel like they've been taken to the washer and the cleaners through a divorce. So they have a lot of hurts and a lot of pains that they're going through as well. I was divorced at an early age, at 31, right, and felt the same way, right? So we have to think about that when we're dating another man and his level of courtship towards us. Does he trust the fact that this new woman that I'm courting and trying to date isn't going to be like the last experience? Because we have pains and we have hurts that we have to get through as well. Just because we're men and we're strong doesn't mean we don't have that same beating heart in our chest with blood pumping through it, just like y'all.
And also, be careful about the baggage that we take into relationships. I think the young lady in the back talked about not having expectation, but having boundaries. I also think that we need to have, if you have some non-negotiables, you need to be able to say, this is a non-negotiable. And again, be honest with yourself, because if you don't want a man with 2 babies, then you don't want a man with 2 babies.
I got one.
Because you just don't, because you don't have that in your wheelhouse. And that's okay, because we are adults and we are able to make choices.
This will be our last question.
Thank you. I was married 36 years. I've been a widow 3.5 years. And I recently started dating. First off, dating after being married that long, dude, I hadn't been on a date since 1984. So it's changed so much. But I recently met a guy that is amazing. Thanks, God, I appreciate it. But one thing you said that I recognize and appreciate, I had to be independent when I needed to be independent, but I have never been the woman to tell a man, I don't need you. No, let's be correct. I need a man. I don't need him to complete me. I need the respect, the companionship. I need the prayers, the things that he gives me that I can't do for myself. So I respect so much what you said, and being an independent woman, and truly I can take care of myself. I won't even tell you how many countries I've been to, but the reality is if a man comes along and he doesn't have what I have, I'm good with that. Does he respect me? Does he take care of me? Does he know what to do and how to treat me? I'm golden. So, respect, brother.
If I can add to that, again, I raised 4 daughters, right? And one of the things, because my daughters are that generation, would get that bag, get that bag, get that bag, right? And so I've always told them, I say, yeah, baby, it's cool to look for a man that's got some money. And, you know, I want a man that's going to pay my light bill. I say, well, you may find a man that's going to pay your light bill, but what if he comes home from happy hour and knocks your lights out? Right? So I started instilling in them to look for the character in a man. You know, I tell them all the time, don't be out here looking for a man like your daddy. Because your daddy is just your daddy. What you want to look for is attributes, you know, qualities of your dad. So that way, you're not setting an expectation on him that he can never live up to. You know, so I definitely can appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong, ladies. I know there's a lot of pee in the dating pool. I get it. I get it.
A whole bunch. It's a whole bunch. It's an Olympic size. Okay.
I understand that it's a whole lot of pee in the dating pool. But you have the opportunity to pick. I tell my sister is 60. So like, Kobe, I just can't keep finding it right. I say, well, baby, maybe your picker needs to be recalibrated. Because it's not every man. Mm-hmm. Every man you meet is a bad guy. So, you know, just be open-minded, be honest with yourself, as the counselor said earlier. Be honest with yourself, set your proper expectations, and give love a chance. Some of us are so bottled up and guarded that love is right there and we look right past it. So let's look for it and be real.
Thank you so much for that, Kobe. So with that being said, I want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for coming out. And I'm going to give Miss Georgia the last word for today. She's going to give us some nuggets to live by. Nuggets that we can take home with us.
Oh, all right. All right. So I guess to wrap it up, what he said was very real. And getting back to the character, know your character, understand who you are. What is it that you want in a relationship? Know what your non-negotiables are. And also, when you are in a relationship and you find that person who have those green flags, make sure you maintain your relationship. The same way we get each other is the way we need to keep each other. And to continue to keep this relationship fresh and anew. Once we get each other, we can't stop doing what we did before. We might need to even bump it up a little bit. So I say to you, present as who you are. If you are not a whole person, find you a good therapist. Psychology Today will let you filter and find, just a person that's the right match for you. And my parting words are, be well.
Thank you so much, Miss Gloria.